The 2018 NFL season is here and the Silver and Black Show is back. In this week's overview, brought to you by Hawaiian Airlines, Jim Plunkett and I get you ready for Monday Night Football. I sit down with Pro Bowl receiver Amari Cooper, and new head coach Jon Gruden joins Chris Townsend in the film room as they get you ready for the Los Angeles Rams. All that and more on the Silver and Black Show, starting right now.
That first time back in the Coliseum as the head coach, running out of that tunnel once again with that team, have you kind of allowed yourself to think what that moment in particular is going to be like? Or is that a little too far down the road?
Well, last time I ran out there, we played the Jets in the preseason game, and I tell you, it was rocking. I have not seen a stadium like that since that night. It was rocking. It was a night game. It was a playoff game. Charlie Garner caught a 98 bunch crunch and went 80 yards to seal the victory. I have not seen that stadium rock like that since. I haven't seen a stadium like that anywhere rock like that. And I hope we can recreate that. And I can't wait to run out of that tunnel and see my friends.
Welcome to the 20th season of the Silver and Black Show. As always, I'm your host, Nicole Zaloumis, alongside our two-time Super Bowl champion, Jim Plunkett, who's been here since day one. Can you believe it's been 20 seasons of the Silver and Black Show?
Yeah, I certainly can. I've had a lot of fun over the years. It's good to be back for our 20th season. Looking forward to it and looking forward to all the changes that have been made, and hopefully it'll turn into a great season for the Raiders this year.
Well, you mentioned all the changes. I went through some changes. I had a baby about 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Would not miss week one of the Silver and Black Show. Any changes to your golf game? Did it improve during the offseason?
It has improved. I've been working at it very, very, very hard.
How about it? I feel like I ask you every season, and finally we're smiling when talking golf with Jim Plunkett.
Get a plus.
Well, obviously Raider Nation is smiling because they get their coach back. Jon Gruden, who was here with you for that first season of the Silver and Black Show, is back on the sidelines. With a coach of this caliber, with so much nostalgia linked to the Raiders organization, what is it like having him back coaching the Silver and Black?
Well, I think it's great. You know, Jon is kind of a bigger-than-life personality. He brings a lot of energy, dedication, motivation to these players, and I think that rubs off on the players themselves, the coaching staff. He gets them fired up. He's an in-your-face kind of guy. You know, if somebody's not doing their job properly or the way he sees it should be done, you know, he'll get on them and he makes no bones about it. Here's what you have to do. You're not doing it correctly. And he's one of those guys who's totally involved in every facet of the game. And, you know, I'm looking forward to see what he can bring out of this ball club this year.
Well, and there will be another reunion of sorts for Jon Gruden, Monday Night Football Week 1, and that leads us to our headlines, all grown up. Before the Los Angeles Rams made Sean McVay the youngest coach in NFL history at the age of 30, he got a start in the league under Jon Gruden as a Buccaneer when he was only 22 years old. The trajectory of the coaches' careers are similar, both rising the ranks fast and receiving head coaching positions at a very young age. Jim, what did you see from Sean McVay in his first year? What made him so successful?
I think a lot has to do with discipline. You know, you got the right players in the right positions to do their job. And one of the things that I think a lot like Jon, he brought in the players who can do those kinds of jobs for him. And that's where you win. You win with personnel, and he seems to really have a good handle on it.
Well, you mentioned the new additions, and that leads us to our second headline, revamped Rams. The Raiders weren't the only ones with a very busy offseason. The LA-based franchise added 4 marquee players to an already impressive roster. They traded for wide receiver Brandon Cooks, and all-pro corners Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters, as well as signed 3-time all-pro defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh. Jim, these are big additions that the Raiders have to face out the gate. Which matchup concerns you the most?
I think Suh does, that the defensive line, along with Aaron Donald, they're able to stuff the run very successfully, put pressure on the quarterback when he drops back to pass. You know, I'm a big believer in offensive and defensive linemen to get the job done so those skilled people, both offensive and defense, can do their job.
Well, why don't we focus on the Raiders defense? And that leads us to our final headline. On the defensive, the Raiders brought in veteran defensive coordinator Paul Guenther from the Cincinnati Bengals, where he oversaw one of the league's better defenses in his 4 years. In the 4 exhibition games, the Raiders ranked top 10 in fewest points and yards allowed and have 12 sacks with 4 forced fumbles. Jim, I know it's the preseason, but there's a different energy when it comes to this defense. What are you seeing early on from this Raiders defense?
Exactly what you said, a lot of energy on this defensive unit. Although the starters obviously didn't play a whole lot in this preseason of 4 games, I thought they played very well. Didn't give up many points on the defensive side of the football. All the games were very close. They kept the ball in front of them as defensive backs and safeties. They came up and made tackles near or around the line of scrimmage, and I think that portends well for the kind of defense that they're going to be running, especially when the starters get back.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see them match up under the bright lights of Monday Night
Oh, you
Football
bet.
here in Oakland. Well, we're just warming up here on the Silver and Black Show. Don't go anywhere.
He's going to toss it back to Carr, but he's looking long, and it is caught by Cooper for the touchdown on the flea flicker. Lost the middle and open. Look at it go! It's Cooper again. 2 touchdowns in the first quarter.
Amari Cooper began his career with back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons before experiencing a down year in 2017 as the Raiders' offense struggled as a whole. Now they're equipped with an offensive mind unlike any other in head coach Jon Gruden. And Amari's true potential lies in weight. Number 89 is our focus in this week's Spotlight. You look good, you're feeling good. So what are you taking from what you learned last season, things that you worked on, and what you're going to apply in 2018?
Yeah, so my focus this offseason was just how can I become a more consistent player? And I think it has to do with the small details of the game. So things like looking the ball all the way through, high pointing the ball, and just, being focused out there.
They go to the pass, and it's a big hitter. Amari Cooper with nobody in the picture for Philadelphia.
So there's a lot of hype this season, and obviously you guys have a completely new coaching staff, starting with your head coach. It's an offensive-minded coach, which is nice, which is new for you. Did you notice that immediately, the change?
I did. So let's go back to Alabama. I had a defensive-minded coach and Coach Saban, but my last year there, he brought in Lane Kiffin as the offensive coordinator, who's very offensive-minded and has history of being a head coach. So when I first got here, I had Jack Del Rio, a defensive-minded coach. And now, fast forward, bringing our coach in now, I can see the shift like back when I was at Alabama when Saban brought Kiffin in. It's kind of the same way with our coach now.
Number 13 is allowed, last 6. Here we go, gotta get him.
So you feel that with Gruden, you feel that with Olsen. What is it like working under an offense with him?
You can see the difference. They focus on explosive plays. They try to get the ball to their playmakers in space, and so it should be an exciting year.
When you met Gruden, what was it like? I mean, does he live up to the hype? Was it crazy out there? Because I've worked with him a couple times during the offseason. Man, he walks in a room and he commands it. I mean, you just kind of hand things over to him.
You can definitely see he's always pretty excited. Maybe drinks a little too much coffee, but he's a cool guy.
So you have Olsen, you have Gruden, you also have Bennett, which is kind of one of those under the radar type coaches. What have you learned in just the few weeks and months that you've been able to work with him, knowing what his reputation is, working with Jordy and developing those receivers in Green Bay?
You know, the great thing about Coach Bennett is he's going to stay on you. Every single day he's going to make sure you bring it. He likes to challenge you. You know, the small details that I focused on this offseason, that's what he focuses on throughout the whole season. He wants you to, bring the ball back high and tight after you catch the ball, run all the way through the end zone after you catch the ball. Just the small things, and if you're not doing it, he's gonna tell you every single time. So he kind of stays on you, and that's a good thing.
So to have Jordy in that room with you, knowing the experience that he's had and the success that he's had with Coach, what has it been like working with a new receiver like Jordy Nelson?
It's been great. He doesn't really talk much, but when he does talk in the room, it's something very important. He's always harping on the small details as well. If he has some advice to give you, he's gonna give it to you.
So you're pretty soft-spoken. Jordy's pretty soft-spoken. So who's that leader in that room? Is there a very vocal receiver?
We don't really have a lot of vocal guys in there, but Jordy and myself, we like to lead by example on the field.
You guys added a new face in that room, and Brandon LaFell. What has your experience been like with him so far?
From what I know, he's an experienced guy. He's been in the league a long time, so I'm sure he'll fit right in.
I know that you and Derek have a great relationship. You've really grown together over the years. So what does this year feel like? Any differences?
Yeah, it has been a couple of differences. We communicate a lot more, and it's shown out there on the practice field. Like when we practiced against Detroit, we communicated right before a 7-on-7 period because I saw the first play on the strip and I was just kind of talking to him. I don't want to go into details about the play, but I kind of talked to him about the play. Hey, we get this look. I think you should do this. And he did it, and I caught the ball. It was a touchdown. So there's been a lot more examples like that throughout the course of practice and training camp. So I would say our communication level has grown.
And the deep ball, Cooper able to haul it in down at the 35-yard line.
So let's get to this week 1 matchup because it definitely doesn't lack hype. You're obviously going against 2 of the top corners in the league. There's a history there. What are you expecting facing this Rams team?
They have a lot of players out there, man, who can, really disrupt the game. So we just have to be focused heading into Monday Night Football. And we have to be focused. We have to want to go out there and make plays just like those guys are going to do. And I've never played on Monday Night Football for the season opener. So every time I watch it at home for the last couple of years, it's been an exciting game. And so, man, I just can't wait to go in there and try to make some plays to help our team win.
Head coach Jon Gruden is no stranger to burning the midnight oil. He has built a reputation over years of dedication to this game for his late-night film sessions. This season, he joins us to tell us exactly what a coach is thinking when breaking down film.
It's the 20th anniversary of the Silver and Black Show. And what's so cool about it, the first time they ever did the Silver and Black Show, Coach, you were a rookie head coach.
Yeah, that's right. I was here, I think, with JT the Brick, Jim Plunkett. I remember it like yesterday.
So it's great to have you back. It's going to be wonderful doing this all year. And this is kind of like your background, what you did with ESPN and all the quarterback camps. And we all loved it. And now we get to do it with the Raiders.
Well, it's exciting to be back with the Raiders. A lot has happened since I've been here, obviously, but we're excited to play the Rams and hope a lot of the fans make it out.
And I'm ready for you to teach me a little football.
Well, let's talk about our quarterback, Chris. I mean, Derek Carr has had a great camp. Obviously, we all know he has tremendous arm talent, but what our fans might not see is what he does behind the scenes, working on miscellaneous setups, play actions, movement in the pocket, and he has a quick release. We found these footballs with no laces. Some of them have no laces, and we're trying to get him to even quicken his arm and maintain his accuracy, and I think that's what the fans would appreciate the most about Derek Carr is his ability to work hard behind the scenes and really a leader on his football team.
Yeah, when you look at him on the film, I mean, stuff that obviously this is practice, but you had to clean up some stuff with him from what you saw last year, correct?
Well, he got hit a lot. He hurt his back, missed some time, and that's never easy on a quarterback. Remember, he got hurt the year before. He's had some injuries in back-to-back seasons. I think we had to address the offensive line position. He got hit too much. And we brought in Colton Miller, our first-round pick, who has really been solid at left tackle. We're moving our veteran Donald Penn over to the right side. So what's in his vision, hopefully, is a little bit more consistent. But I think we've got to improve the pocket, give him a chance to use his talent, that God-gifted arm that he has. And I think it all starts there.
And, of course, you got a very talented receiver. I know you're really looking forward to working with Amari Cooper.
Really am. You know, he's bigger than I really thought. This man is almost 220 pounds. He's got 4.4 speed. And he, too, has the work ethic that you want in a young receiver. I mean, the great ones I've been around, Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, Sterling Sharp, they practice like they play on game day. Catch this short pass away from your body, put the ball away and finish. And you just feel the burst. You know, you feel the man getting ready for a great season. And here in Raiderland, we have about 13 different cameras. You see that? We can get Amari Cooper from the back end, the front end, the side shot. Which angle do you like, Chris?
It's pretty cool. I've never really seen this before, the fact that you can break down practice like that. You know, we see it with like game stuff now, and we could see it with like NFL game, but you guys have every angle of every single play of every single minute of practice.
Takes us about 3 days to get through practice film because we had every play filmed from 12 different angles. But here's a great shot of Cooper working against Rashawn Melvin. He's going to come off the ball, try to close the cushion, just a little stutter right there. Stutter go, and then he comes out of this in beautiful transition. He's so graceful and light on his feet for a big receiver. He's fun to watch. And the great thing about Coop is he has really improved at the line of scrimmage, getting away from press coverage. And I think his football aptitude, remember, he's in his 4th year now. He's able to play multiple positions. We can line him up all over the place. He can run away from you. He's excellent after the catch. And if you get to know Amari Cooper, you know he's one heck of a guy. But look at this guy work on the practice field to escape. And then once he gets separation, he can finish the deal. And we're really excited about his future.
Coach, I know you're really looking forward to some of these young defensive linemen that you have who have really shined so far in this preseason. How about Maurice Hurst?
Yeah, so far so good. We really wanted to upgrade our inside pass rush, and I think we've done that with P.J. Hall and certainly Maurice Hurst. Hurst comes out of Michigan. You see him working here against number 62 in training camp. We knew Hurst could rush the passer. He had a lot of production at Michigan as a one-gap penetrator getting after the quarterback. The big question we had is, can you stand in there down after down against those Semele and Gabe Jackson and these big guards? So we've been working on his transition to being an every down defensive tackle, getting off blocks, staying in his gap, keeping our linebackers clean, and finishing. But Hurst is a guy that is really going to help us as a three technique, outside shoulder of the guard and Paul Gunther's defense. This is us practicing against the Lions, and this is where he really jumped off the screen in terms of his inside rush. There's that inside move that he possesses. So he's going to be a fun guy to watch. He's still growing, and he will continue to improve because of the way he works.
Coach, we got Monday Night Football coming up here against the Rams. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll get into your love for the Coliseum, but you told us the story down in Los Angeles. The McVays and the Grudens have the long history with your fathers, and of course, you gave Sean his first job, but it wasn't an actual football job was his title.
Well, no, it wasn't. We had a secretary leave the building. She took another job, so I said, we'll get McVay in to be the secretary. Next thing I know, he's out on the field coaching Joey Galloway, and just a great, I think, relationship between the McVays and the Grudens back to 1970. My dad, his grandfather, football relationship, a lot of respect for the profession. Really proud of him and excited to go to battle against him.
Yeah, and they got a very good football team, both offensively and defensively. It's going to be a big challenge.
Yeah, they're a playoff team, and just like you would expect in Los Angeles, they've gone out and brought in some celebrity players. You know, Aqib Talib, Marcus Peters, and Ndamukong Suh, Brandon Cooks. I don't know if they have a salary cap down there, but they brought in a lot of high-powered players. Obviously, Jared Goff is coming into his own, and Todd Gurley is one of the backs that we will see all year.
And I really want fans to hear this because you said it great. I can't remember where we were when you talked about it. Or you said doing Monday Night Football, you went to all these brand new buildings and there's that stale feel. And there's nothing like, no matter how old it is, there's nothing like the Oakland Coliseum and Raider football.
No, there isn't. I mean, I'll tell you, we played 2 preseason games here. And if you stayed around and watched the final 4 or 5 plays, nobody left. These are real football fans. They understand the game. They love the Raiders. And it's a sincere passion for the silver and black. And I like the dirt. I like the dirt, and I like the grit and the grime. And it's where Fred Biletnikoff played, for crying out loud. Cliff Branch's corners there. The Snake played here. There's a certain amount of tradition in every organization, but I think this place, playing where the great games and the great players played, is very meaningful.
Good luck on Monday Night Football.
Thanks, man. Good to see you, Chris.
Good to see you.
Let's go Raiders.
That's a big challenge, no question. And they've got some young guys that we need to learn about on the outside. Robert Quinn is not there. Connor Barwin's not there. They got a new inside backer. Ogletree's not there. They've got 2 new corners that are also there. That's why you can't really watch last year's tape to help you get ready for this game. And they didn't play them in the preseason more than half a dozen plays. So we're going to see where they are, and they'll see where we are. But I don't really care who we play. We've always learned a long time ago the other team are faceless objects. You have to look at it that way. They can beat you up really bad in pro football, no matter who you play. So having the utmost respect for the Rams, but you got to treat every game as its own, and we want to win just because it's time to play.
Welcome back to the Silver and Black Show. When you think of the Los Angeles Rams, you think of Aaron Donald, one of the best defensive players in the league. This is going to be quite the challenge for the Raiders. What does the interior of that offensive line have to do to contain number 99?
Well, I think our linemen are obviously very competitive. What you try to do is you take pride in trying to handle them yourself. One-on-one if you can. If you can't do that, you're going to have to double team him, sometimes chip him with a back as he tries to make his approach into the backfield. But they're going to have to find a way to handle him, not let him disrupt the running game or pressure the quarterback, give Derek time enough to throw the football to the person he wants to throw it to. But it's going to be a challenge, there's no doubt about it. So you got to find ways to stop him, and I am sure the Raiders will.
On the other side of the ball, you have a 2017 MVP candidate in Todd Gurley. When you have a player of his caliber, how do you contain him, shut him down without sacrificing too much?
Well, there's a lot of things to contend with on the defensive side of the football. First of all, you want to shut down the run, whether it's Todd Gurley or anybody else. and force the quarterback in long situations where he has to throw the football. That's optimum. That's what you really want to do. But, obviously they're a real fun team, made the playoffs a year ago. So they're going to get some yards, but hopefully they won't be crucial yards that'll hurt you. But once again, shut down the run as much as you can and put that quarterback in situations where he doesn't want to be.
Well, Jim, it's time now for Plunkett's Pick of the Week. It's one area of focus that you're cluing in on for week one.
Well, I'm really not sure. Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib have joined the Rams, and that's going to be a challenge for our receivers. They're quality players back there, and the Raiders have to find a way to get open down the football field and come up with some big plays. And I think you're going to need big plays to be able to beat the Rams this Monday night.
All right, that's going to do it for our week one edition of the Silver and Black Show. Make sure you tune in every Saturday for exclusive content of your favorite team. On behalf of Jim Plunkett, Jon Gruden, Amari Cooper, I'm Nicole Zaloumis. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.